All right, everybody, we officially have a series here in the LCS Academy playoff. C9 Academy getting their first win here against Evil Geniuses Academy to bring the score 2-1. Some different strats coming out on both sides. Mad Magical, we talked about the fact that Lulu was probably not going to be available in this game, and that's exactly what we saw.
This is what me and Cubby had talked about in the last break, not this one that we just had. We didn't want to see Lulu at all. Ban it, get rid of it. That is what Cloud9 did. And I even love their draft here and how they were able to play it because, well, normally you look at this composition and you're like, okay, it scales. It's going to be able to do well in the late game. It was scrappy. There was a lot of fights happening early on. That's one of the strengths of Cloud9 that we had highlighted earlier. Plus, having the scaling really made up for what normally is their trough in the mid game, where there was a couple of hiccups from them, but they were so far ahead at that point, it didn't matter.
Didn't seem to matter in the slightest at certain points in time, Deserux. We talked about the fact that Cloud9 Academy have had a strong early game, but it was as strong as ever there.
Oh, it was so strong, and a lot of that was because of Surenfire. He had some big brain early jungle pathing. We saw he went with the late invade into the blue buff, instantly bullies away Tomio. Tomio tries to reply by going cross-map to the other blue buff, is able to take that. Then we see another invade come in, and this is just knowing that Cloud9 have priority over towards their bot side. So Tomio could not respond. Tomio was forced to get 3 buff there, and that was just signs of more to come when we saw Surenfire just with his momentum on the map.
Yeah, taking a look back at the moments in that game itself, I mean, we called out Mad Magical the fact that these junglers were going to be very important to watch throughout the series, and it was highlighted right at the start.
Right, you just see constant aggression, even from Tomio on the other side, but Surenfire was the one dictating a lot of it. He was the one where he was trying to make these plays early on, and you can take a look here. It's like, oh, you got a nice pick. King, why is he there? Okay, it looks a little awkward. A lot of these plays kind of seem odd at moments for Cloud9. But the fact is that Surenfire, really the main person, the main important factor here, is constantly trying to see if he can stay on the same side as Tomio so he can always fight him. Normally, you wouldn't even want to fight this as Xin Zhao in to Olaf, but you already got the early leads, the triple buff over him, the priority that you're constantly able to put him behind. There is no skirmish anymore. It is Xin Zhao carrying from there.
It feels like in response to the Xin Zhao carrying and a lot of this early aggression we saw on the side of C9 Academy, Deserux Evil Geniuses Academy were trying to answer. They were trying to make proactive plays of their own, but just not necessarily there in the same context.
Yeah, a lot of the plays they did make, while they look good at first, yeah, you get a kill and whatnot, the risk was just not worth it. They would lose a lot in these exchanges. They would go for the deep invade, stay there too long, and Cloud9 would respond appropriately. We saw many attempts, however, over in the mid lane of JoJo doing everything he could to try and stop Copy in the mid lane, but even he doesn't weigh the risk-reward that much, stays way too long, ends up getting solo killed.
Speaking a bit more onto that mid lane, Mad Magical, how did you think about the fact, or the way it played out, rather, between the Azir and the Yone on the other side?
It was odd. It was really odd to see that Evil Geniuses opted into that. That they were the ones to choose that matchup, saying, all right, it's cool. I think what they wanted to do is hold on to the flex, but that gangplank that was picked for Darshan pretty much counteracted that, saying, all right, you really want to play the Yone matchup up top side, deal with Gangplank, who's going to be able to bully, so they had to put Karma there, Tony Top on something that was more of the utility, trying to help out the team. Just wasn't looking great, and it's Copy on something that is a control mage. We talked about this at the very beginning of the day. This tends to be one of his strengths, where he feels the most confident. So for Cloud9, they had so much comfort across the board.
Yeah, with that level of comfort on the Cloud9 Academy side, Deserux, looking at Evil Genius Academy, how in line with comfort did you feel that they were? Because it's not like they are unfamiliar with these picks. It's not like they're not used to JoJo Pion be put on something that is powerful, but it didn't feel like the same cohesiveness we saw in some of the previous games.
A lot of these picks, Evil Geniuses are so comfortable on them, it's just, it felt like they drafted it within a bubble, not realizing the power that we were going to see out of Cloud9 Academy. They had so much beautiful zone control. They had a lot of late game scaling. I mean, in one of those team fights, you saw it turn into basically a ball pit playpin. But, you know, like ball pit play-ins, EG went extinct at the very end of that, and it was brutal because the raw damage, the zone control, Evil Geniuses could never get organized. They could never get fights on their conditions because Cloud9 was always tearing them apart.
And even when we consider that, the fact that Cloud9 was always trying to tear EGA apart, Mad Magical, we never necessarily locked it in for Cloud9 early on in the game because historically they have had some difficulty in mid-game. What do you think that they did well here to ensure that lead was continued on for them?
I think it came down to the early jungle pathing of Sternfire. It really started out of the gates. You saw how he fought, made sure to take blue buff, and it seemed nice from Tomio. He went immediately to the other side to get the blue buff back. It looked good, but the problem then is you look mid lane. The priority copy was able to get for the team allowed another invasion from the side of Sternfire to constantly bully Tomio. And again, I talk about the Olaf and Distant Shadow, the skirmishing potential. You always have to fear Olaf, but the problem for Olaf is it was always going to be a 2 versus 1 unless you could get Tony top to be able to come all the way down there to help out, and he even had that priority to do so, but unfortunately it was way too far. He was playing around copy, using that priority, knowing Yone would never be able to join up, so that way triple buff, you had the even scuttle 1-for-1 trade, and from there it was constantly Sternfire, making sure that he was wherever Tomio was.
And not just the early game, like, we talked about the draft a lot, but I have to keep bringing that up because there were things that were just a little bit of a head-scratcher when it came to Evil Geniuses Academy's draft. I feel like things could have been much different if we had that Karma over in the mid lane, if we have JoJo there in order to take that Karma, in order to fill the same role that we had with the Lulu. Having JoJo on that Yone, it didn't really do much. It would have been a terrible matchup if he sent it over to the top lane. I'm hoping they reevaluate something like that and continue with that playstyle, because that whole supportive, empower Tomio, and then just feed the puppy, let them run right through everyone else, that method was working so well in the previous games that we saw.
And this almost feels like it's the turn of fate, where I was criticizing Cloud9 in Game 2 of their draft when they grabbed Gnar when they could have left that for blind. Here, it's Evil Geniuses. They grabbed that Yone when they could have grabbed Nautilus. The Nautilus is what we were really talking about. Rafa, Cubby, they really were highlighting wanting the Ziggs and Nautilus combination in the bot lane. They had the opportunity to get it. They didn't. Instead, they went for the Yone, which allowed a 4 Gangplank to be an easy choice on the other side, knowing it's either going to be into Karma or it's going to be into Yone. Sure, you could flex the Karma into the bot lane if you really wanted to, but I feel like the only matchup that's really going to handle anything against that Gangplank is going to be the Karma, just because you're able to at least wave clear and push him back early on.
Even with all of that considered and maybe wishing for some adjustments in the solo lanes, I think a point that was working well for EG Academy that we can take note of is Team Luke. He was taking down those turrets. He was starting to get a strong build on himself. There was just never a state in the game for him to affect the rest of it. Do you believe, Desterux, that there is a way that the rest of the team can play around that, especially if he does opt to go for something like the Ziggs again?
It's tough to say, because even though Team Luke's getting something, you have to look at what else Cloud9 is getting on the other side of the map. Sure, the strategy worked well to get 3 turrets really quick and really efficiently, but Team Luke wasn't able to provide anything in those team fights with the gold lead he was able to acquire. And I use gold lead very lightly because of the way that just snowballed out of control once we got towards the later stages of the game. And even when EG were able to utilize some of that damage that we had on Team Luke, it was already far too late into the game. Inhibitors were down, double super creeps coming down every single lane, and that was pretty much all she just wrote.
And look, the Ziggs pickup, it helped them get those turrets early on 3 really quickly. But I don't know, maybe it's just me. I like Team Luke on Ashe. He looked really good on Ashe. The Enchanted Crystal Arrows were on point. The cross-map plays he was able to make while pushing in the bot lane. It seemed far better for the side of Evil Geniuses to have that on their team. The Ziggs felt like it was just not really a factor that really was able to impact anything.
That being said, though, it did feel like Ziggs was left on his own, which is why he was able to get those gold leads, but it ended up leading to a lot of cases where then they would collapse upon him. Do you think, Mad Magical, there is a way that regardless of whatever pick is taken to the table, we might see an adjustment from EGA, the way that they choose to play around that bot laner?
Well, I'm looking at EG, and the things that have worked well for them is playing together as the Goon Squad. The team fight composition around 15 to 20 minutes. I want to see them draft around that style again. I want to see more focus on the mid-game, the weakest point of Cloud9.
Let's find out what EGA bring to the table. They have elected to go to red side here against Cloud9 Academy, who are coming on hot after a game win for themselves. Rafa, Cubby, bring us into the champion select.
Thanks, Tigress, and we're definitely getting ready for Game 4 draft. Cloud9 Academy are actually going to get blue side once again, as Evil Geniuses have opted into the red side.
That's the big surprise for me. I thought that EG was going to go blue, try and get the Zen. try and get a Lulu for themselves. That said, I think that they're going to giveaways in or take it. That's like the big decision that EGA has to make for the first phase of pick ban, as I think that they either want to deny that from Surenfire or they feel like they have a better response for it prepared.
Well, for Cloud9, if they're in the same spot as before, so far the bans don't have to change. Evil Geniuses Academy, they're the ones that have to make the adaptation.
And for C9, I think that coming into this, you know that EG's probably not going to run it back. It was a losing support matchup. It just enabled Isles to get out onto the map as fast as possible. I think the desk as well definitely agreed that it wasn't the look that we saw from EG in the first 2 games, and that game went rather sideways, rather fast. So expecting changes to come out from EG in this one. And kind of the narrative that we had going into that Game 3, Rafa, was the fact that when EG was playing in the regular season, a lot of this team was surrounded by, or the identity of this team was really Contracts and Jojo Pyun. Contracts enabling Jojo Pyun to get a lead and then him snowballing it to other lanes. We haven't seen that. We've seen them playing for jungle and other members of EG really stepping up. And I know that, Rafa, you're a little bit shocked, a little bit surprised that both Enchantresses are off the table, and this is going to force EG. They have a big decision to make, as they're not going to be able to play with an Enchantress unless they want to settle for something like Seraphine. Do we ban Xin Zhao, or do we give it?
I think the other thing that they have that opens up the table here, Cubby, is they gave up the LeBlanc ban. So the Xin Zhao is still secured by Cloud9 Academy, but I wonder if Evil Geniuses catch on to the fact that this mobile assassin, this pick that both Copy and Jojo Pyun have played in the past, immediately snagged up.
Yeah, good call. Jojo Pyun's LeBlanc has been not the greatest win rate that we have, but still very powerful, and this instantly switches things up for EG. C9, by changing up their bans, they say, we want LeBlanc, now we don't need any other magic damage, we're just going to take Varus in the bot lane, take that priority for Team Luke, as C9 have the chance now to respond with Ziggs if they so choose. That's been a handshake that we've seen in this set. And then we'll also have the chance to counterpick mid if they want to keep on hiding the rest of their draft. Copy could opt for something like a Lucian here. They wanted to guarantee some mid priority and some early shove to help enable Surenfire, something that went very well for C9 in the last game, as they really took advantage of their winning matchups in the mid and the bot lane.
Historically, we've seen teams pick the Syndra into the LeBlanc, trying to go for the early priority, maintain it, or Cloud9 could lock in their support. But if they want to maintain counter support pick, I guess the choice is going to be holding on to the cards for both of the solo laners here in Cloud9 Academy.
I think EG are pretty apt to eating some support bans. You have Braum, you have Nautilus, a lot of options that Mystiques can play. And so I think that they don't want that jungle pool to be narrowed. And I think that we're going to have Tomio select his jungler now, as C9 will be looking for solo laners going into the next phase of draft. And EG wrapping up this phase with their last pick in R3. Oh, I lied. It's actually going to be the Alistar once again for Mystiques.
Game 3 was not as inspiring from Mystique's Alistar, but regardless of one performance, it has been something that Mystiques has had incredible performances on in Evil Geniuses Academy's prior games, and as already there are identifying some tricky counter picks that could have been really a nail in Evil Geniuses' side with that Silas ban.
So instantly, jungler is going to be taken away by C9. If you're scratching your head at that Graves, it's actually a real comfort pick for Tomio, something that he's very good at in the jungle.
At his best.
Yeah, and so they're going to be a little bit scared of that. Probably another AD jungle ban being thrown out. Wouldn't be surprised if it is the Olaf.
Love the Dark.
Whereas those bans coming out of EG, potentially setting up for a Gnar take for Tony top, as GP and Silas, 2 matchups that are pretty decent into Gnar, or maybe even an Ornn, as that could be where EG are looking to maybe switch things up, as those bans tell me that they might be looking to blind a top laner and give Tomio a counter pick.
For Cloud9 Academy, Renekton is taken away. Things that are now available. Camille, something that has been banned this entire series. I know we've usually seen it as a great counterpick option for Tony Top. It's something they've been trying to take away, but
Flex it.
You know, blind. This Volibear could also be flexed, and this is a way to hide your cards here to save counterpick option either for Tony Top if it's more favorable, as we lied. Trundle has been locked in for Tomio, so the counterpick is going to be saved for Tony Top.
Okay, so C9, Darshan's blinds at this point. Gnar, it looks like to be the most likely decision for me, but he will have to be scared of that Camille, something that Tony Top is very comfortable in that matchup. And Darshan, realizing that, going to actually take the Camille for himself. So, once again, the Hextech Ultimatum plus Super Mega Inferno Bomb could be a combo that C9 could use to great success to lock down something slippery like a LeBlanc. And now Copy, that Syndra is still up and available if he wants it. It's pretty difficult with the Trundle Pillar. And yeah, he's going to go for something much more supportive.
Okay.
As Copy taking out the Galio. So C9 looking to play fast, execute the big carries for EG here, denying that Camille, baiting Tony Top into what could be a Jax pick. Okay.
Oh, okay, so not the Jax, but it is the Fiora. So, Cubby, we saw this matchup between Camille and Fiora in yesterday's quarterfinal series during 100 Thieves and Immortals, and Tenacity busted out the Fiora against Viper's Camille. Didn't work out so well for Tenacity. Viper kind of destroyed him in the game, and Fiora never got to that point where we do see her becoming a monster split pusher. But if Evil Geniuses Academy are able to funnel resources into Tony Top's Fiora early on, then this potentially could be a huge menace that opens up and breaks the game for Cloud9 Academy's macro.
Yeah, honestly, I was really hoping for the Tony Top Jax. That is his signature pick from solo queue. He is 4-0 on that in this split. But I think with all the crowd control for C9, he wants access to that riposte. And I'm curious to see how he uses that in this matchup, because you have a couple of options as the Fiora. You can, of course, riposte the ultimate from Camille. You can riposte the stun on the E, but I think that the best use of it in this matchup is actually to riposte the true damage on the Q from Darshan for Camille.
Win out in the trades.
Yeah, so you do get CC'd, but Fiora can catch back up, keep up in that matchup, and by riposting the true damage, you actually end up winning those trades, as that is the trade pattern that Camille wants, just weaving in those Qs when you have time. And once again, I really want to see how Tomio is able to interact with these lanes, because the Galio pick for Copy, it is more supportive. Trundle wrecks Galio. Like, it is really difficult to navigate Galio in this laning phase. And we talked about how Tomio, or how Contracts and Jojo Pion, Contracts played to enable Jojo. Tomio has a great chance to do that in this game with these pillars, as he will be forced to play through his lanes, as Xin Zhao does win this matchup when it comes to farming out the camp. Surenfire will naturally get ahead. So we're going to have to see if Tomio can step up, interact with his lanes, and do something that Surenfire was able to do when he got the Trundle in Game 2 despite the loss.
Now, bottom lane, too, is a potential target for Tomio, as a pillar is going to make Leona and Ziggs very sad without flashes, as Satchel Charge is not the most effective of getting around the pillar, and Leona doesn't have any true mobility outside of Zenith Blade, but you can only use that as an aggressive option, not necessarily a defensive option, unless, an enemy is in the path of escape for you. But I imagine Tomio, we still have to make sure that the top lane is adequately fed at some point for Tony Top, because this Fiora will need the help in order to get off to that accelerated state. That Fiora really needs to be able to start split pushing.
So something cute just went down. Jojo Pion did drop a late ward. It was cleared out by a sweeper option from Isles, and the ward was gifted over to Copy, so he's going to hit level 2 on the first wave. As he was able to take that down, get the experience. Will help him a little bit in this matchup, as we're going to see very heavy trading in this matchup between Fiora and Darshan. The goal for Tony Top, anytime he can proc Conquer, he wins. Darshan, with the trading pattern of Camille, wants to rely on that grasp. This Tony Top winning in the level 1. Darshan opted for the Doran Shield, so we'll have more sustain, but with both junglers pathing up top in what is a volatile matchup, that HP advantage going over to Tony Top early could be big.
And one of the things that you mentioned about how the riposte is so huge in this matchup as well, you see why, because the Precision Protocol, it has a pretty long cooldown in the early stages of the game compared to something like the Lunge from Fiora, as the Vitals doesn't necessarily have that much of a cooldown either, so you already see the huge advantage that Tony Top has been able to get just based off that level 1.
And Surenfire might be able to be up here in time to contest what looks to be a 3-wave crash from Tony Top, as he's going to try and push this into Darshan. And he has dropped the trinket to give himself a little bit of safety, but it's going to be a contested wave by both teams. As you can see, Tomio pathing up here, might be looking for a dive.
JojoPion also shoving in this wave into Copy. Copy will have teleport to answer in case JojoPion also gets out of the wave, but Surenfire gets spotted out here on his blue buff, has to succeed this blue buff potentially over to Tomio as Darshan, I mean, this is a huge wave that is crashing into him, so they're going to make the sacrifice and catch out Tomio. Already burned the flash. First blood goes over to Surenfire.
Tomio playing too fast, so if he waited, he had Mystiques, he had that support priority walking up, but once he was spotted, Darshan properly seeding that wave, helping Surenfire out in this matchup. Advantage C9, good play from Darshan.
It's a huge sacrifice that Darshan losing out on what seems like a lot of solo experience and CS, but being able to net first blood for your jungler, accelerating Surenfire, replicates potentially what was made Cloud9 so successful in Game 3.
Oh, nice base cancel coming out from Team Nuke. That's a little bit lucky. Grants him a little bit of stead for Sigs to potentially burn that TP, unless he's at threat of losing this wave that Team Luke will properly freeze. And that's the TP coming out. So a small win for EG, freezing this wave. And this will open up a window where Tomio might be looking, and you can see Surenfire, I think, intelligently skipping over his camps to try and cover, as C9 are going to try and get this wave in. And will do so as Tomio decides to go back to his own camps.
There are a couple wards here, as Surenfire will be spotted out if he makes his approach too close to the tower. I'll give Tomio some necessary information, as off of that invade, losing out on the flash, he needs to catch back up an XP so he doesn't fall too far behind in Surenfire's stead.
Yeah, big mistake coming out from Tomio there, just playing a little bit too fast and flashing before Camille was using that hook shot. Did go down as the aggression pays off between Surenfire as Tony Top trading heavily to try and maintain that freeze and once again force Darshan's TP out, as EG have won a couple early TPs, an advantage that they might use to look for an early dragon, as Varus does grant priority in that bot lane. And we haven't seen dragon stacking be heavily prioritized by either of these teams, but it sure seems like with this setup, EG wants to try and do so in this game.
Okay, so here's a potential play. Surenfire is already on the bottom side of the map. Darshan just burned teleport onto the top side of the map, but is having difficulty breaking this freeze. Tomio is on the top side. Imagine if you're able to bait out the hook shot early from Tony Top, you come, you punish Camille that has realistically no ways of getting out, since this is a TP Ignite Camille.
And Tony Top's doing a great job of managing this wave, really forcing Darshan to step up and overextend. But we talked about Trundle Pillar interacting with Copy. There it is.
There it is. Copy immediately having to burn the flash, as Tomio, great patience on waiting out the Justice Punch before using the Pillar, interrupting him as, Darshan is not level 6. Tony Top doesn't have flash either, is not able to run him down using the Ignite and the Grand Challenge, as Darshan, who just recently used Teleport, now has to take the long walk of shame towards the top side of the map.
A really good understanding of that matchup as trade a flash, maybe a kill.
Mystiques punted Isles into the tower after the flash. It's going to be a nice killing blow going over to Evil Genius's bot lane.
Big win for EG's bot lane. While this is happening, Surenfire, of course, taking the dragon, utilizing the fact that Copy did just TP back into the mid lane. JojoPion has to match. So that will grant them the dragon, whereas Tomio did deny the Gromp. And a big wave dying to Darshan. I know that Dragon did go over to C9, but I consider that a big win on the map for EG. The fact that Tony Top has this kind of lead in this volatile of a matchup, Rafa. If he's able to win the side lane, it's going to force and relegate Darshan to really only be that ult bot for these team fights, where C9, this isn't a game where they immensely outscale like the others. And this early game being rather close for EG, especially in gold, and funneling that gold into the right member, probably the best early game we've seen from EG so far in this series.
And considering how much of Cloud9's macro and early game leads, even in the games that they did not win out, it still gave them a huge presence on the map. It gave them a lot of control, because Darshan was always either at least going even or winning out on the 1v1s against Tony Top in the lane. But now this is the first time where we see Tony Top having a lot of control. You already see that Cloud9, they're already getting ready to make a dive happen on the top lane just to give him control.
They have to try and get Tony Top behind, because if they don't dive on this wave, they're going to get so far behind. But Mystiques is here to answer, is lying in wait. This is going to be very cute in the top lane if they're going to be able to pull this off, as both teams trying to make plays on each top laner. Shurnfire
Darshan goes right back in. Hextech ultimatum. He's going to try to lock Tony Top down for the kill. Shurnfire answers with the wind becomes lightning, as Tony Top is able to buy enough distance away. Mystiques being the nice goalkeeper to keep his top laner alive, but then going for a re-engage as Jojo Pion is here for the chase. Hero's entrance comes out from Copy as Mystiques is the only one left out to dry from Evil Geniuses.
Too deep from Mystiques. You have to respect the power of Galio at that point of the game. Uh-oh, Tomio.
Oh, Tomio just took the blast cone back over. He's going to get flashed on. He has to answer the flash back out, but a beautiful taunt and a Justice Punch onto Jojo Pion. Might be enough to take out his life, but he uses the flash as well to be able to escape, as Cloud9, just off the back of being able to roam towards the top side. It seemed like Evil Geniuses were ready to pivot around Tony Top, but a huge win for Cloud9 as a team.
It does save the red buff, but a lot lost for EG in that play. Flashes on both their mid-jungle duo. As a misstep there from Tomio. Didn't necessarily have to blow that flash, but Tomio wanted to fight that, as he is going to get that red buff for himself. An expensive investment into that one. Will walk out, and I do like the hover from Mystiques. It was a great hover, but you don't need to go for that play. You don't need to re-engage this. You already win out on the play if Tony Top's able to pick up this wave. And the re-engage from Mystiques, you have to respect the power of Galio. And you see Ziggs mid, he can commit with a Super Mega Inferno Death Bomb. As Mystiques go, like, re-engaging here, it's just not enough, not the right time. Copy's here to answer, and you can't get follow-up from Fiora. You can't get follow-up into a Galio ult. And EG just end up going down and bleeding out more than they needed to invest in that play.
All things considered, we're almost at the 10-minute mark here at Cubby. Second Dragon is about to spawn in a minute 50. And all that pressure from the invades and from the counter-engage onto the top side of the map allows Cloud9 to be able to net this Rift Herald, first one of the game. They can make their way over to this Dragon, and they'll have this Rift Herald play to be able to set up a cross-map play to force EG's hand and being able to determine which objective that they have to fight for first.
This is also big, being paired up with Ziggs. We mentioned it in the last game. If you get Shelly, it's 3.5 plates with Satchel Charge guaranteed if you're able to get a turret low enough. So C9 looking to take first brick as Team Luke. Off the dodge out of the Text Flash coming over from Isles. We'll play that safely as he is opting for the newer Varus build that we've seen come a little bit more popular, going for the Eclipse, relying on that Vamp Scepter to try and survive the poke wars that we have at the early stages of the game with him versus Ziggs. And similar item spike, of course, with Duskblade, but just shield movement speed, a little bit more valuable in the fights for him instead of just Duskblade going invulnerable, in his opinion. And I'll say I do like the Eclipse adaptation we've been seeing out of these Varus builds, as he has been a linchpin in the meta.
That was a cute little stun from Hookshot, being able to clip Tony Top on the way exit out, as despite the very early win from Tony Top and being able to bleed Darshan out, he's been able to somewhat keep up. He's still behind about 15-20 CS, but Darshan not quite out of the game yet, but Tony Top still in a great position if Evil Geniuses want the split push win condition to come online.
And unironically in this matchup, the fact that Tony Top did opt for the Conquer instead of Grasp, that will help him quite a bit as that matchup does evolve. As you can see, Shurnfire are going to take a couple extra tower shots. Does have to burn ultimate, but they're really trying to go for this first turret as... Oh, the Satchel Charge!
It was not in range. I think that's why he had to pop it early, because he recognized that it was just outside of the turret radius. And Cloud9 are not going to be able to knock down this turret quite yet. And King is a little dangerously too low to walk up and go for another Satchel Charge.
And that's actually a big deal, because him getting chunked out there, Jojo Pion's going to commit the teleport, and this should be a Dragon that could have been C9's for free, instead going over to EG because of the damage that Shurnfire and King both took as... okay, never mind. Alright, we're good.
Let me replenish on health and just get that bomb destruction down. Nets first brick. They do lose out on the second Dragon because the Evil Geniuses had committed Jojo Pion's teleport and had Tony Top ready to rotate over from mid lane, but first brick gold going over to Cloud9 ensures that the gold lead is still in their favor, as there's a flash from Isles trying to lock down Tomio. Jojo Pion is here. Lockdown.
TP.
is not quite enough to take down Tomio. Mega Inferno Bomb comes out. Subjugate is sucking all the resistances away from Isles, keeping him tanky and durable. Copy popping the Predator Boots. I don't know if you're actually going to be able to get him under turret, as Tomio does make it out alive.
A lot invested there for C9, though, and this is a team that, with Galio, they have to hit their spike early. As TP's coming in, they do get the blue buff for themselves. They rotate King into the mid lane, where he's going to feel very comfortable, just getting more and more plates on the Zig, something that C9's done a very good job of the 2 games that they've been piloting this champion, making sure that King gets funneled. As they're going to take a 3rd plate here, and EG might be looking for a response, but Jojo, oh no.
Jojo
no.
Pyun has been caught red-handed. He thought he had a safe route out, but a beautiful pick and response from Cloud9. Catches Jojo Pyun with his pants down, and now Evil Geniuses are the ones having to make the counter response, but this turret is getting dangerously low. King, just a couple more auto attacks might be able to knock down the other mid turret.
Love that play coming out from Copy, showing his experience on the Galio. As taking Jojo Pyun down is going to enable them to continue the siege on the mid turret, but they do bleed a lot for this. As 3 plates for Tony Top. We talked about the volatility of this matchup for Fiora. He's going to be a committed side laner that can win the matchup versus both Galio and Camille very hard. I think that's why they opted for the Fiora instead of Tony Top's signature Jax. And now they're going to try and execute the dive on Darshan.
Darshan using Hextech Ultimate and being able to dodge out on some
they
CC.
answered.
Mega Inferno Bomb is huge, and they get a bunch of damage down. Mystiques has the flash away as Surefire's here on the chase. Gets the knockup down onto Tomio, going for the 3-talent strike. Meanwhile, mid lane Copy fighting against Team Luke. He flashes forward. He's able to get one back as King just needs one more auto attack. Misses the bouncing bomb. Team Luke dodging it out, trying to run to safety, but it's just an Isles waiting in the wings as he eventually goes back to King for the kill.
And while all this is happening, look at the big bot lane that EG is losing. Tony Top's losing out on 2 waves yet again. C9 trying to cut off the recalls, are not quite able to do it. And King knocks down this mid turret, so C9, not only do they win the initial play, but win the play around the map, denying these waves, continuing to push their lead against C9 even further.
A beautiful taunt set up from Copy. He's able to set up for King, even though he didn't have Mega Inferno Bomb as he already used it towards the top side of the map. It's enough damage to answer one back. Unfortunately, Team Luke also has a bit of damage early on, so Copy does go down for those efforts.
Yeah, a little bit of a miscalculation from Copy, taking those turret shots. That's what enabled Team Luke to invest a Summoner spell to try and turn that one around, which does successfully. But C9 still winning out on the play. They knocked down that mid turret, denied a lot of resources in the bot lane. And EG, they do scale rather well. They're always going to have the side laning option with Fiora. But C9, they can attack as hard as they want. They can snowball this lead so easily with the Camille, Galios, and Zhao always being able to push the pace to go in. And EG is going to have a lot of difficulty trying to survive that the next 5-10 minutes of this game, where C9 are really hitting their stride and their true strength, the strongest point of their composition, moving into the mid game.
Darshan is here on the bottom side of the map. Mystiques and Tomio were hovering around Tony Top. Potentially almost thinking about a dive as Isles comes here in response just to protect Darshan. He's still down about 20 CS as Tony Top has been able to finish that 4-drinker Mythic power spike. Whereas Darshan still working on that Divine Sunderer, but has played Steel Caps, hopefully for Cloud9, and mitigate a lot of the harass that Tony Top is going in for the chips.
And Tony Top, he was the member that really stepped up in Game 2. Or EG, really turned things in their favor with that dominant Kennen play. And something that we've seen Tony Top really evolve as the split push threat for EG. He's always that late game side lane insurance, the role that he has in this game as the Fiora. And has the chance with a very favorable matchup, that R5 counter pick that counters both Camille and Galio, to be the big difference for EG in this game. And while he's more of a role player, a team that has historically been the Jojo Pyun contract show, with this new roster, with this new look for Evil Geniuses Academy, new members have a chance to step up. This is a great setup for Tony Top to do just that in this game.
Tony Top is so far as the only member from Evil Geniuses Academy this game that has not suffered a death. He's been able to keep his distances and push his limits while maximizing his farm and keeping himself alive. As we said before, when you pick a Fiora in R5 in Game 4, you can't just be somewhat ahead. You can't just go even against the Camille. You have to be monstrously ahead. You need to be what takes Cloud9 away from key objectives on cross sides of the map, because you are threatening structures and you're threatening base turrets with this Fiora pick.
Speaking of monster objectives and pulling people around the map, C9 heavily committing towards this dragon. I'd be very surprised if EG even opted to contest. As the Rift Herald was dropped mid to grant extra priority, this Cloud Dragon is on the Rift, and EG looking to just trade out gold, play some side lanes here, seed this, as C9 has done a very good job of setting it up, and as we mentioned previously, this is the part of the game where C9's composition is very, very powerful. These one-item spikes with Galio. Very difficult to fight the death ball that C9 can perform at the moment. EG opting to respect that, will play elsewhere on the map.
Rift Herald, even though it does not necessarily get any charge onto the turrets, it does give Cloud9 enough time and space to secure the second dragon for themselves here. This is going to be a Cloud Soul game. Cloud9 are halfway there, as Evil Genius is still trying to take this time to funnel resources back into their solo laners.
And we talked about how Jojo Pyun, out of all mid laners, he has some of the highest CS percentage after the 15-minute mark, and the highest DPM out of all mid laners that we have in Academy, showing how many fights he takes, how much EG relies on him to carry, and what he can do with the gold and resources that he is granted as the game goes on. I know that in the first 2 games he was on that supportive position on the Lulu, which he performed great on, but now that those enchantresses have been banned out by C9, they don't want to give that strategy over to EG. Jojo Pyun is back on a character that he can split push with, that he can make plays with in the LeBlanc, and is being granted those resources as EG. Much like how C9 were trying to stretch out EG on the map in the first 2 games, EG find themselves in that position now in Game 3, trying to take advantage of the LeBlanc and Fiora in these side lanes, trying to play around the Galio, Camille, Leona, just dogpile that C9 are looking to execute at the moment, as they're set up in this top side, looking to execute upon this top outer turret. EG look to be respecting that as Jojo getting a little feisty. They'd have to burn Flash.
Jojo a little too far extended in the topside jungle as the Cloud9 Goon Squad came in hunting, making sure that they could protect and hover for Compy. This turret can fall if enough members are dedicated towards that top side of the map. Jojo Pyun having to come to the mid lane while Tony is rushing the bottom side of the map, but Isles coming in response to make sure that Darshan does not get threatened with another turret dive, as there's not enough members that can make it towards the top side of the map. Mystiques is going to potentially find a pick onto Schernfire as Jojo Pyun is waiting in the wings. Crescent Guard will be popped. No more damage can come from Jojo Pyun. Hero's entrance comes out for Compy, but now members are being dedicated towards this potential pick. Fiora did teleport Tony on the run. Jojo Pyun tries to distort over the wall, cannot quite cut the distance here as Schernfire is still trying to hover Copy, make sure that he's not routed off, but now Fiora engaging with the grand challenge. Oh, Ignite is going to take down Tony, will take him down.
There's a TP.
The healing is not necessary, but Darshan is going to looking for a grand other. Look at the health bar members of Evil Geniuses, where Darshan just gets deleted instantly.
Watch Tony.
It's going to have to be up to King. It's going to have to be up to the rest of the Cloud9 members, but Omega Inferno Bomb finally comes out, but it only hits one on the outer rim. It takes out Jojo Pyun, but Tony Top, Tomi on Team Luke are still alive.
The Comet from Ziggs actually took down Jojo Pyun, which enables the even trade, but EG, Fiora, the dedicated split pusher, TPing in, turns things in favor of EG, who route off C9, looking a little bit too deep, as Copy, a beautiful chain lance from Jojo Pyun, and Tony Top on the split push Fiora with the early lead. The early resources he was granted does so much work with those in this fight, Rafa. As C9, they commit to the fight, things get rather close with the health bars, but the focus, the target selection from EG is the big difference in King. Lucky that he took down Jojo Pyun here on the back half, or else this would have been a huge win for EG across the map.
By the time the Mega Inferno Bomb comes,
Wait, he steps into the mine, then Comet. Unlucky. Or I believe the bouncing bomb from King as he did layer that. Young 16-year-old Jojo Pyun, despite those professional Fortnite mechanics, not quite able to build a wall around that. Can't do that in this game, buddy.
Gotta be a little bit more careful about the walking there for Evil Geniuses. A huge pick for them, as they are still down in gold about 3,000, still the same from what Cloud9 had been able to work off of building up to this game. But another kill going over to Tony Top and him making it out alive without being able to give over potential shutdown gold back.
Oh, Mystiques.
Now Mystiques trying to fight for control. Tony Top is waiting in the wings as well. Mega Inferno Bomb goes land on the Jojo Pyun. He's getting dangerously low. Does he have the passive to get out? But he dashes right into Schernfire to be able to take him out. Crescent Guard is popped. Copy is left alone in the dust, and Isles will also fall. Darshan is pushing in the mid lane. Evil Geniuses, no dragon quite up yet for 30 seconds. So they take the win and just try to walk out.
A good read from Mystiques on this one. I think the big thing for C9 is that we talked about the Wombo combo, the fact how Galio can follow up on Darshan's Hextech Ultimatum, but they saw Darshan on wards in the top side of the map. They have a 5v4 in EG. They're not afraid to pull the trigger. They were described as overly aggressive, but in this series, we've seen them be more calculated in that aggression, and that's an example of Mystiques taking that fight right off the bat. It pays off for EG as they take a 2-for-1 and continue to find a foothold into this game. Now, Rafa, this Dragon, EG have to shift their focus here quickly as this is the third Dragon. It looks like EG is still respecting the team fight, respecting the priority that C9 have and the power they have at this point of the game. They're going to trade this one out, grant Soul Point over to C9, which will force them to contest every objective here on out.
Soul Point is given over to Cloud9, but look at...
Okay, we're good.
Okay, look at Tony Top. He is now gone in the third kill for himself and has a Ravenous Hydra, whereas Darshan is still trailing behind. If there was any doubt that Tony Top would not be able to win out in the 1v1, there should be no doubt at all. Between Gore Trigger and Ravenous Hydra, you get so much sustain, so much lifesteal, and being able to shove out waves quickly as Japion looking for a potential pick on the Isles, as Isles is a little more tanky than you would like to deal with as LeBlanc, but still, Tony Top. Once this teleport comes back online, he has to group up with the team members right now whenever they go for objectives, but once teleport is once again available, you're going to have to dedicate more than just Darshan to answer in a split push at this point in the game.
Yeah, they had a wave pushing into them bot, so just looking for a window where, in case Darshan was there, they're keeping track of these teleports, as you mentioned, Rafa. And EG looking for another 5v4, looking to press that advantage off of a pillar from Tomio, as both teams will reset, will retreat. And Tony Top goes back to that split push duty, which he can do so quickly now with that Ravenous Hydra completed. As this Fiora, at this point of the game, level 15 for Tony Top. He is going to be very scary, especially that rank 3 ultimate. And this is where EG, they're just trying to buy time with... Oh, Team Luke!
Flash Chain of Corruption, Jojo Pyun from downtown! They lock down King! And now a member down, Mystiques is going for more plays, more action. Tony Top with the flank. Grand Challenge has been popped on the Surenfire. He's still got the chase. One more lunge could be able to close the distance, but Darshan comes in, but it might have been for all for naught because Darshan, now he's the one that's getting picked off. Evil Geniuses finding 2 great picks.
Uh-oh, Team Luke has to burn the coins. He might be in trouble.
Team Luke getting dangerously low. The Guts of Wind, or the Winds of War, comes in. Copy's able to answer one back, but Isles is lost in the process as well. Evil Genius is still maintaining the numbers advantage on the map.
And I love how they're utilizing Tony Top in this game, because they're not using him for dedicated split push priority. They realize that in a team comp where you have 4 members that have to go into you, with how far ahead Tony Top is, and the low damage that C9 has, the low DPS, Tony Top gets to live through everything and proccing all those vitals. He's doing way too much that C9 has to deal with. As let's get things started right off the bat. Team Luke, our Flash, Chains of Corruption connecting with King, setting up with Jojo Pyun. Really well played to find this pick, and watch how EG capitalized it off of here as Mystiques. He was looking for the setup. He gets caught out, actually. Has Hex Flashes to dodge out on the Zenith Blade, and then Tony Top, once he gets involved in the fight. Once again, C9, they're not grouped. They're not dictating the pace of this game. This is not them choosing the engages with the Hextech Ultimatums, choosing the engages with the Solar Flares. It's EG behind, dictating how these fights are going to go. And the fact that C9 doesn't get to set up that guaranteed Wombo combo they can find with Camille, it's giving EG the advantage, the space they need to get back into this game once again.
Evil Geniuses identifying the pieces, the foundation for Cloud9's composition to stand on. No damage from Ziggs means who else is going to be dealing damage, or at least a substantial amount of burst from Cloud9. Really, from Surenfire, maybe you can get some sustained damage in with the current build, but at this point in the game, when you're 26 minutes in and you don't have a dedicated enchanter, then Xin Zhao, you are a glorified frontliner. You can deal some sustained damage, but there's no way that you can out-damage Tony Top, who is just a huge monster at this point in the game.
And at this point in the game, Rafa, C9, they have been bleeding out some gold, but they still have a lead. They still have a part of the game where their comp is very powerful, and they still have that backdoor Cloud Soul win condition, which could be very helpful for them. That extra move speed, the lower cooldown ultimates for a team that relies on their ults to engage. I know that there is a joke that, it's Clown Soul, not the most powerful soul, but it's actually pretty useful for them this game. And EG have to worry about this, because we are 1 minute out. Both teams should be resetting here. Jojo Pyun does ensure push on this lane, but it will be matched by Darshan in the bot lane. because how the waves are bouncing, C9 will push this one out. It will have Prio in the top wave, but if EG fixed that bot wave, it would give them the angle to get a backdoor teleport from Tony Top potentially. As, oh no, you can't freeze my feed right here.
No, don't do it like
Oh.
this.
We're
Not like this.
Oh, pausing at this point of the game.
It's game 4. No,
Tension
man.
keeps building,
Okay. The
Gotta fix our hair here.
you know,
in a little while.
I had to fix my heart rate as well. My goodness. Well, maybe this is a good time.
Maybe
to,
fix
to
the internet
keep-
connection too.
Hey man, we're all trying. These are desperate times. There's a lot of things that could be going better. I don't know if you've heard about Salt Lake City air right now, Cubby, but it is very smoggy.
I love
out
how
here.
your first vamp point is just involves Utah. I feel like that's so fitting for you, Rafa.
I'm just.
Straight to
It
Utah.
was the first thing. I just looked out my window and I realized I can't even see the mountains anymore because of how smoggy it is. And the mountains are not that far from me. I live right under, and the fact that I can't see it is just is dangerous, and it makes things very, very, very sus. Just like how Cloud9 have to deal with this
Hey, there it
very
is.
powerful Fiora right now. Boom! See the segue. I'm too good at this thing, Cubby.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm just
Rafa's
no.
good.
I'm just kidding. I'm getting a little. I'm not modest enough. Usually I'm more modest on those types of things. But still, Cubby, this Fiora is a huge problem right now, because if it's not only winning the split push war, but as you already mentioned, there's 4 melee champions from the side of Cloud9 that
Don't bait us like
Tony
this.
Top can just walk in and just sustain through. I mean, we didn't even mention this before, but the Grievous wounds is
back?
only on Isles. Everyone else doesn't really have access to Grievous wounds at the
Okay.
moment to cut down sustain.
We're back. This is a big key. EG, they have to set up first in this river. They have to avoid the Wombo coming out from C9 Academy, as good poke landing from Jojo Pyun on a priority member in Schernfire. This might help open things up for EG, and it's very important they take control of the river, because with a Ziggs and a Varus, control of river means that you get to poke from the fog of war, something that's very dangerous for each of these teams to go up against. So EG, very good control over this objective, actually forces
look at
C9 to
Tony.
not even contest. They're going to see this, and Tony Top, I think, intelligently soloing this one out as the rest of EG are posturing and maybe that C9 cannot threaten Baron. Good macro play coming out from EGA
Yes.
as they utilize the power of their side laners to guarantee that objective for themselves. Darshan was hovering around looking for the Miracle Steal, but not able to find it. EG survived the first Cloud Soul, as C9 have a lot more opportunities to threaten this throughout this game if we end up going late.
I definitely think that one is in the cards here, Cubby. If anything, this series has dictated and told us anytime that evil geniuses are not completely shut out in the early game, the games then go the distance here. And this series has... It's not a game 5, it's still a game 4, but it's match point, and it's been match point since the end of game 2 for Evil Geniuses Academy. And Cloud9 had a monstrous lead in the game 3, where the game was pretty much over after the 22 minutes. Different scenario here. Tony Top, fully enabled, online, 3-item Fiora. It is going to take more than a miracle for Cloud9 to be able to take down Tony Top if he is always being careful.
And this would be so big for EG, a team that, going back in history between these two teams, Proving Grounds, C9 were the ones that knocked EG into the lower bracket with a 2-0 in Proving Grounds, as EG, with 3 of the 5 members returning, looking to get revenge and looking to take control of this Baron pit, as Mystiques, he is way deep here, as he is potentially looking for a flank against C9, as C9 forced to actually burn the Super Mega Inferno Bomb to find a pick, and Mystiques, I think, is waiting to knock Isles into the team. Can he find it?
He's gonna... No, he wants King.
Oh, no way.
They don't
Oh,
face
no
check the
way.
push. He finds King! They get the knock-up down! Jojo Pyun falls up! But King, a beautiful
he's
satchel
knocked.
charge, is able to get out on Crescent Guard. It's
They got him.
beautiful! Jojo Pyun is the one that gets assassinated by Cloud9, and now Evil Geniuses have to be on the run. No further kills were sure from that. But what could have been a beautiful pick is salvaged by Cloud9.
Oh, okay, so they got King's Flash. That's a big key, but Jojo Pyun, we talked about the power of the Galio. He has to dive in. He got locked up. He got burned by all the magic damage coming out from Ziggs Galio. And now this gives C9 control over the objective in a game where they're trying to cover behind. Team Luke, he got TP'd upon. He's getting flanked.
Team Luke is going to get taunted right for the big bomb. It's a stopwatch. Can the members of Evil Geniuses come in? But Team Luke gets eviscerated on the tower. Tony Top now coming up with the teleport. He's going to be able to take out Isles, but the rest of Cloud9 will be able to retreat from the Fiora.
Still big for C9. They're getting things back out onto the map. They're taking down carries, getting shutdowns that they very much need to maintain this gold lead. As they aren't going to be able to push for any monster objectives, EGA are able to play enough defense to survive that, and an important stopwatch from Team Luke, allowing for his team to respond to eat health bars of C9. Prevented what could have been a healthy Baron attempt for C9 as they would have continued to bait EG into mismatched, misnumbered fights. As Rafa, you take a deep breath, and let's see how Jojo Pyong gets caught out. Oh, it's Isles. He lands a root onto Jojo Pyong, and the stun connects. And then the magic damage in the choke. Tony Top, the real Fed member of EG, the one that's been funneled in this game, was just never able to get through the choke, get involved. And a great attempt from EG just gets foiled. As Team Luke going golden here, this was actually very important. It allowed Mystiques to actually get in here and respond.
Which then set up for Tony Top's Fiora on the teleport entrance, being able to trade one back. But one thing that we didn't even mention, Covey, is that King stayed alive thanks to a well-timed Seraph Shield as well. A lot of damage being mitigated coming in from Jojo Pyong on the follow-up of that play for Mystiques.
Yeah, shout out to Isles, not only landing the stun on Jojo, but also that lock of the Iron Sawari, keeping that Ziggs alive. Very important for C9, the linchpin of their team. And now a $115 away from another Cloud Soul attempt from C9. And this time the Rift looks much different and much more in C9's favor, as they have taken complete control over this bot side jungle and river against EG. Something that we talked about, the importance of both these teams getting the objective first. The fact that they have poke. It's very difficult now for EG to walk into the Fog of War against a Xin Zhao Camille Galio combo where they cannot send any squishy members in, and Mystiques is going to be forced to face check things here with Tomio. As C9, this much better setup for them might grant them the Cloud Soul they need to turn this game back in their favor.
And one thing that we didn't note either, even though Evil Genius's Tony Top has been muchly ahead in the top lane matchup, King has been sitting on a full item advantage over Team Luke thanks to all the pressure and all the focus toward snowballing this bottom laner for Cloud9. And you already talked about his experience, his veterancy, and his accomplishments over in Oceania.
They're going for Baron.
Oh, they're going
to... Yeah, there's no control in the river. They realize they can't face check this. They can't walk through Ziggs, so they're just going to threaten the Baron. And this is going to be a cute tug and pull as Darshan, he doesn't have TP, so he cannot threaten the Dragon at this point. As EG, they're sticking it.
You saw hesitation from Cloud9. They thought, can we go for the Dragon?
A lot of damage.
Mega Inferno Brawl lands right on top. Baron is secured by Tomio. Mystique's taking a lot of damage onto the front end of the burst from Cloud9. They lock down Tony Top, but he's able to get over the wall. Tomio makes the flash over. Health bars are extremely low, but there's a teleport available for Jojo, not one for Tony. This could be Cloud Soul for Cloud9.
It's gone. This was the trade. EG, they realized they had no control over that, so they're just going to try and do as much as they can with the Baron. And we talked about knocking down the turrets. The inner turrets grant so much more local gold now, as they're going to have to deal with Cloud Soul. And Rafa, this game, with the pace that we have, the structures that we have up, it looks like we're going towards another Elder.
Elder in 6 minutes' time, which means we would be hitting the 40-minute mark. Mega Inferno Bomb comes out to try and take out some of the minion waves that are just tearing through the mid-tier 1 turret. Jojo Pyong trying to get in the face of Cloud9, look for some poke damage. Mystiques putting some vision down over the wall. Always ready to look for a flank, looking for a pick, as now Evil Genius is taking complete control of the top side of the map.
Yeah, playing out these two lanes beautifully, and Jojo Pyong, past level 16 now, has access to that low cooldown ultimate where the poke on the block becomes very lethal. You will have to be careful about diving into Leona and Galio, and I love how Isles is positioning right now, trying to bait Jojo in, as Jojo, not falling victim to any Galio taunts there, is able to sneak out, and this poke war should enable them to knock down these inner turrets and enable EG to have a gold lead in this game, where we talked about the importance of their scaling side laners, Rafa. Now they're back on that gold lead and are stronger at this point of the game. C9 need to find that wombo that they've yet to figure out in this game, I think, to come back.
Evil Geniuses with the Baron buff, they have to make the most out of it. As you already pointed out before, Cloud9 Even though they're on the back foot at the moment with the Baron minions hitting in these structures, King is about to hit full item build on the Ziggs, and if you cannot get access to the Ziggs in the back line, he is going to rain and drop a huge burst of damage to Schernfire. A lot of picks. Oh, Isles going way deep into the back line. I don't think he was ready for him to take the long journey back over there. Solarfare comes out to try and stop Evil Geniuses in their stead, but the Ignite and the burn from the skirmishing, or not even the skirmishing saber, just the burn overall. Tomio gonna be able to answer one now, and it is 5 on 4 Covey. They're gonna push for the end here. The defense from Cloud9 has to be immaculate in order for them to survive. Copy's dead. This is 3 on 5.
Jojo Pion, he's the big difference in this game. We talked about the level 16 LeBlanc. He is now one-shot, two characters on the side of C9. EG, they're pushing for it.
It's going to have to be a huge defense from Cloud9. It's 3 on 5. They've already found Schernfire. Chain of Corruption comes out. Mega Inferno Bomb goes wide, but it's still doing enough damage onto the outer rim. Jojo Pion is severely chunked. It's 2, 3 empowered cannon minions heralding down damage onto the turret. But Cloud9 are able to hold strong.
Not enough. They don't even get the Nexus turret. The poke from King a little bit too much against Jojo Pion and C9. They have access to a Darshan teleport if they want to try and chase, but with no deep ward, C9, they're going to take the loss. They're going to lose the inhibitor, and EG gets the base with a lot of money in their pockets. And this level 17 LeBlanc for Jojo Pion, Rafa, he is the 16-year-old super carry for EG Academy, has been so since he started playing for this roster, and he has the chance to be the difference here as EG Academy looking to take down the 4-seed C9 in Academy playoffs.
The poke has to be precise from Evil Geniuses. As you saw, anytime that they were able to single out a member, chunking out Copy or Schernfire before Siege, it gave them free access to walk up to the turrets and start knocking down the structures of Cloud9's base. A bottom inhibitor already open, giving Evil Geniuses enough map pressure to start contesting parts of the map, as the next objective is going to be Baron once again in under 2 minutes, but the Elder Dragon will also be around the same time.
And what a story for EGA. Going up against an Academy roster, one of the most experienced Academy rosters that we have, with OPL, a 5-time OPL champion in King, Schernfire, someone who joined King for a couple of those victories and has represented OPL at Worlds, at MSI, and EG, off of the fact of their internal talent promotions, getting Team Luke from NA, who started playing competitively this year for Wildcard, promoting Tomio, who started playing competitively this year on Team Infernal with Tony Top and Copy in Scouting Grounds. These guys are poised to take this game forward to upset C9 and make their mark in the Academy playoffs, as they just have a couple boxes left to check, and a couple difficult ones at that, as Baron spawning in 1 minute, Rafa. EG will have to navigate that with Elder 30 seconds behind. Both monster objectives coming up, full resets from both teams. C9 will be at a disadvantage because of that bot inhibitor being down. And EG is going to be all on Jojo Pion to find these picks, find this damage, and dodge out of the poke of C9.
But for Cloud9, their hope is on King, who has now reached full build, has the death cap online. You already saw the Mega Inferno Bomb clear out the entire minion wave with no difficulty whatsoever. And because of that Cloud Soul, he can chuck out Mega Inferno Bombs. I'm not sure what the cooldown is at this point, but I know it is at least under 40 seconds. And being able to have that up almost every minion wave gives you so much time to stall, gives you so much control of the map, and being able to look for poke, look for picks, dropping almost 1,600, maybe more damage in the AoE, especially if you hit the center, can change and keep Cloud9 alive and bring us to a Game 5.
Okay, the closest ward for C9, it's that mid-lane ward. Keep your eyes on that, because Darshan may be forced to TP as EG, taking total control over this top river, have started Baron. Darshan trying to join his team, saving the TP, but it's already at half health.
8,000, 6,000 for Cloud9. Mega Inferno Bomb goes wide. That's a lot of damage on the Team Luke. There's no way that he can stay in the fight. Copy doing a great job of zoning the rest of the backline away. Cloud9 are able to eliminate mistakes. They eliminate Tomio. They gets caught out. It's a double for King. And now Evil Geniuses, they're on the run. A beautiful
they got Jojo
from Darshan. Jojo's gone. And Tony Top and Team Luke have to run.
And C9, they are not done yet. They aren't out of this game, aren't out of this series, as the full build Ziggs, it connects. And EG Team Luke just looking for a miracle steal here.
There's no way. Piercing arrow over the wall? Not quite. Cloud9 secure the Baron, and the Elder is the next objective on the table.
The death timers, they're too long for EGA. They can't get back out onto the map. This is all C9 and backs up against the wall. We talked about the experience of this roster, relying on that, finding the miracle, engage, catching out EGA as C9. Double monster objectives under their belts. Now it's their turn to see if they can wrap up this game.
And not even Tony Top, who has still not died once this game, can withstand the power of Cloud9. Baron buff on their side, Cloud Soul on their side, Elder Dragon on this side. This is a powerhouse of a team with full builds almost across all the members on the Rift, but for King, who is just pouring out damage with his full build Ziggs, the member from Oceania with the most accomplishments coming in onto this roster, has been putting this team on his back.
Important for King, too, as I know that his stint in LCS, it wasn't the way that he wanted it to go. But still proving that he is one of the top marksmen that we have in Academy in the space, stepping up on the Ziggs this game, now 7-1. And with this Infernal Dragon, I'm not kidding you, I think that C9 get a guaranteed one-shot if they Hextech Ultimatum and combine the Ziggs ult with that, with the Elder Execute as well. I think it's too much for someone like Team Nuke to deal with, and you can see he has gone for the GA. He has had to go for the GA. As C9, they have everything they need to try and push the tempo, push the fight. Elder still have time left on that. They're going to look for an engage, try and take down EG in their base.
Stopwatch timing from Jojo Pion will be important. Team Luke with the GA is going to rely on the rest of his teammates to try and salvage him out of a potential lockdown. Tony Top has a riposte. Timing could be great, but like you said, Cummy, with the amount of damage that is coming out from Cloud9, it might not even be enough for Evil Geniuses to be able to withstand. They don't have necessarily the wave clear to be able to withstand a Baron-empowered minion siege. Chain of Corruption lands again, but it's only delaying the inevitable as the siege comes in strong, and Copy with the taunt is going to zone off the members of Evil Geniuses.
They've got to give it all. There's no way that EG can contest the one-shot potential from Ziggs and Camille. It's too much, as 2 inhibitors are down. C9 still have a wave or 2 left with this Elder buff. We'll use it to retreat into the topside jungle of EG, deny all these resources, and see if they can knock down a 3rd inhibitor and lock EG into their base.
Arshawn building up this wave as well, being able to easily translate this Baron buff. There's no more Elder. The Baron buff is still on their side. They're making the siege strong. Tony Top has to tend to both bottom and the mid wave as they are super minions pouring into the base. There's a teleport war potential for Tony Top to make, but he just has to walk in through.
Oh, here comes the TP. Wait, we have a flank. Here we go.
Okay, flank here. This is all for all the marbles. Either Evil Geniuses close out the series right here, right now, or Cloud9 brings us to a Game 5. Jojo Pion waiting for the right target, but they immediately jump. Stopwatch is great. Fire with the Crescent Guard is trying to buy as much time, but the Mega Bomb takes out Team Luke's HP bar. Now he is on the run. Tony Top trying to get into the backline, but just cannot have access to it. Mystique's getting chased out, and he's going to be run down as well. It's a double for King. Evil Geniuses on the back. What could have been a 3-0 sweep. Cloud9 able to hold strong. They lock down Team Luke on the GA. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to the full distance. Bring out the Silver Scrapes, because Game 5 is coming your way.
And what a hold from C9 in this game. We talked about the fact they hadn't found the Wombo combo. It wasn't the sync-up we want to see with the Camille, with the Gallia, with the Ziggs. And all it took at the end was just one ultimate from King, a Baron debuff team, all the magic damage, a 5-man Ziggs ult was all C9 needed to turn that game around, turn around the scaling side laners of EGA, and put EGA in their graves, push this one to a Game 5. And what a series we have on our hands. That's the second game we've had go over 40 minutes. Just a nail-biter that could have went either way.
There's no better way to summarize up that game, Cubby. And I know the analyst desk is eager to look at some of the highlights that came out of Game 4. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be the final match, the final conclusion of this series. And the winner of this will advance into the semifinals for the Academy season next week. Do not go away. We will be right back after this break.